Hello, welcome in, guys. And here is the energy and tarot reading for the week. So, this is going to be preemptive to what we can expect from February 15th through the 22nd. Okay. This is a really big week, and I don't think enough people are understanding how many things are happening this week that are putting us into a transit of forward movement. Okay. There is eclipses happening. There is 0 degree alignment with a lot of astrological signs. We've got the year of the horse starting, all really big, massive things for our change and movement forward. Now, when we're talking about this energy this week, you need to be super, super aware. Okay. And the reason being is this week may be full of a lot of positivity, but it is going to be super, super dense. Okay. You need to be very, very aware of opposing forces this week. While there's all this movement and push to drive us forward, we also have to look at what could potentially be on the other side of this, trying to deter us from getting to that point for ourselves. Okay? Be very, very mindful of distractions, of distortions, of negativity trying to hijack your trajectory forward. Okay? This isn't about being paranoid or reactive. You just need to stay very much aware of what is going on. Now, secondly, if something shows up that looks too perfect, a deal, an opportunity, a connection, whatever it may be, you need to take a moment and look at it under a microscope before you jump into alignment with it. Okay? This might not be what it is on the surface. Okay? I'm going to guarantee that some of these things are going to look so good to be true that you are so excited about it, you don't even think about it, you jump into it, and then all of a sudden you realize, man, this was a mistake. Okay? So make sure if anything shows up for yourself, you're using that discernment. You are getting all of the details. You are not just jumping in to jump in because you're like, oh my gosh, this is the opportunity I've been waiting for. This is where we're talking about this opposition force coming in this week that could very much screw up this positive trajectory for you moving forward. Secondly, when we are talking about the reading this week, this is very much the same energy I am getting. We have to be very mindful of where the deception's coming in. That is going to trump over our passion and our movement forward. Okay. Be very, very mindful of the things that are showing up that are trying to push you in a different direction, specifically with changing your trajectory of where you already know you're going. Okay, again, think about that. If it's too good to be true and it's showing up, use discernment to see if that's actually in alignment with what you want to be doing and how you want to be doing it. Now, here's the problem here. If you fall in alignment with too many of these things that are of temptation, it's not going to work in your favor. You're going to get a lot of heartbreak. You're going to get a lot of sorrow and be like, why did I do this to myself again? Okay. We have to be very mindful that if we are in this space of wanting so many different things at one time, or praying, or hoping, or manifesting all of this positivity, when things show up that may not actually be in alignment for us, we're going to jump on it because we think it's the opportunity. That's the trick this week. Okay. You need to be very mindful of the things that are going to cause limitations and or any fear this week, specifically with determined in putting you in a different energy, a limiting energy, a fear energy, anything that is standing in your way from actually moving in a forward momentum. Okay. Because you may end up seeing that you had this trajectory, you had all of these things lined out, you had this movement forward, and then all of a sudden you're feeling all this fear and these limitations and all of these restrictions coming at you at one time. Be mindful because that may not be you. That may be opposing outside forces of a lot of different things trying to deter you off your path. So if you are having those days where it's really, really hard to move and navigate forward, walk away. Do not make massive changes this week because those changes that it might be forcing you to do could be sending you in a downward spiral opposite of what you actually want to be doing. Okay. Now, with this too, though, you need to stand your ground on what you want. There is a lot of opportunity this week for you to move in a forward trajectory with what you want to be doing, not with things that are showing up to take that away from you. Okay. If you have a plan of action already going, or you are making that plan of action and you know that that is strong for your stability, movement, and energy moving forward, don't let anything stand in the way of making that a thing for you. Okay. You need to take action and you need to start moving in those directions, but you've got to remain very, 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 very grounded in what your decisions have already been. Because, like I said, that opposing force is really going to be big this week of like, ooh, they figured out what they're going to do. Oh, this is actually going to work in their favor. Okay, how do we throw a wrench in this? That is exactly the energy you need to be paying attention to. Okay. Now, make sure the opportunities this week that present, you are using the discernment. Just like the energy read this week, the tarot is pulling the same thing. You need to be very mindful of making sure you are very clear on anything that shows up this week as an opportunity. You need the details. Who's involved? What is it involving? Get all of the information. If anything feels off, don't even go there. Walk away from it. Take a break. Let it go. Okay. You may get into that energy of like, oh my gosh, but this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. Is it? Is it? Question yourself on that level. Okay. So, recap for this week, the 15th through the 22nd. Big time on discernment. Stay trajectory on what it is that you are building and what you are working towards. Do not let the things come in to try and deter that or make you second guess or overthink anything that you've been planning up to this point, because this is such a big growth week for everyone collectively that, trust me, those little negative creepers are going to try and weasel their way in to throw you way off path and get you going a completely different direction. That is not actually where you need to be. If you have any questions, guys, feel free to leave a comment. Have a good week.